Hello, old buddy. How are you doing? Today I'm going to share another message from the Jesus Energy that talks about the return to God, return to faith, return to Jesus maybe, even in some cases. I'll tell you all about it on the other side. So I was asking them, the Jesus Energy, what do you think about, so many people who seem to be turning to faith? What's that about? What's your impression? And what they said is that they're very pleased that it's happening. But they also intimated that it wasn't a surprise to them, that it was part of the plan, and that it's always been, what they intimated to me was that in the process in which we find ourselves, that's what's supposed to happen. But they explained how it happens. So what they said is that initially, if we talk about the Dark Ages, they said that people have been bathed in false light. The false light of whatever you want to call it, false light of politics, false light of religion, false light of societal norms, whatever. People have been bathed in the false light. And little by little, what's happened is that light has been diminished. Little by little, when they find out what's really happening, they find out about politicians, they find out about medicine, they find out about Hollywood, they find whatever. The light gets diminished because it's a false light that, as the Jesus Energy explained, is the faith in mankind. And I'm part of mankind, but what they're saying is that faith, putting your faith in mankind as the saviour, and science has been doing that as well, hasn't it? Science is the saviour of mankind. God doesn't exist. And so people have been putting the faith in mankind as the saviour. And now a wave of awakening is happening where people are going, actually, looking at it, there is no light, it's darkness. And so what the Jesus Energy said is that suddenly people are being plunged into darkness. The light that this false light that they were looking at has gone out. They said it's only then, and this is what I thought was really interesting, they said it's only then that they can actually see the true light. And the true light is, fill in the gap, God, source, universe, faith in a higher power, Jesus, whatever deity, whatever it is that works for you. So they said that people can't see that when this false light was so bright, and bloody hell it was bright. Bloody hell. I mean, it still is for some people. Some people are still completely blinded by the false light. So the light goes out and suddenly they can see that actually, there's the light. So that's what the Jesus Energy said is happening. That all that's happening is that people are starting to be able to see the true light. The light of God, I suppose. But they said that the reason that they expect this to happen, and the reason that this is supposed to happen, is that the process that we're in here on the earth is designed that way. What they said is that we cannot find the true light until we've been plunged into darkness. And it's only when we've got to the lowest of the low, that actually we start returning back and wanting to have faith again. I've known a number of ex-heroin addicts. I've known them kind of off and on. When I used to play in the band, there was a lot of people who I met who had gotten heavily into heroin and then come out. And what I noticed was that all of them that I talked to, all of them talked about religion, not religion, but God and Jesus and how they were saved by God and Jesus. Loads of them. What the Jesus Energy was saying was that that's the process. Obviously, that's an extreme example. I used to call it the rebound. I used to say, they've rebounded. They've gone from the worst to what the perceive as the best. And they're using it as a crutch. This is what I used to say. They're using religion as a crutch. Now I understand that I was completely fucking wrong. No, they're not. What they're doing is they're seeing the light. Because they've gone through the dark night of the soul. Okay, that fantastic card in the tarot pack. The dark night of the soul. And that's why so many of us now, so many people who've gone through the last 4 years of horribleness. I mean, the first 2020, 2021, 2022. I mean, how bad was that? That was our dark night of the soul. And so it's no wonder now that we realise that all the lights have gone off in the world, for us. And I'm talking about, they even use that as a metaphor, don't they? The stars, the bright lights of Hollywood and the bright lights of the world. He's a star. No, they've gone out. They are not twinkling anymore. And so we're able to see, hang on, we've gone through this shit. Now we want something that's actually of substance. And I know lots of people who don't believe in that. When they hear somebody say, well, I'm turning to faith because I want something of substance, they would laugh their tits off. Because for them, science is substance, or the political world is substance. It's real, it's tangible. And we know that it isn't. It's meaningless. It's like sand running through your fingers. There's nothing tangible that you can get a hold of. Whereas once you have faith, once you actually surrender yourself to a higher power, it's like all the weight's off, all the pressure's off. There's not that sense that it's all down to you and down to man and we've got to do something about this. This has got to be put right. Somebody has to put it right. We used to blame God all the time, didn't we? Well, why when all of this is happening? Why? And then you realise that it's got nothing to do with God, really. Because God is a non-player member of this, what's happening. God doesn't interact. It's a game that's been set up. And it wouldn't be the right thing for God to come in and just put everything right. Imagine it came in, just put everything right. That wouldn't fix anything. And what would be the point? I mean, let's face it, God, if it's true that God's all-powerful, all-seeing, all-knowing, all of the alls, God could come and say, okay, right, I'll just make everybody nice. And that's it. In a blink. Why? Why is that not done? Well, it isn't done because it's not the purpose. That's not the point. That wouldn't do anything. The point is that we have to go through the hero's journey. We come here to go through the hero's journey. The hero has to fight the monster. The hero has to go through points where he thinks he's going to die. That he thinks that there's no hope. And then finally, after all of that dark night of the soul, then the hero moves on, finds the treasure, finds love, and returns home. That's what we're living. What would be the point of taking all that away? The hero only becomes the hero after he's fought the monster. When he leaves home the first time, he's got no aspirations, got nothing about him. It's only when he returns after having done that he's the hero. So that's where we are. So we needn't wait for God to intervene. Okay? There's already a plan there anyway. There always was a plan. And it isn't that God's going to intervene. The plan is going to intervene. That's what's going to happen. So we just need to keep moving toward the light, I suppose. Now that we're coming out of the darkness. And when you're in the light, what a beautiful place it is. Is it not? I love you all, and I'll speak to you all later. Bye-bye.